Can literature be an act of resistance?
If you think books only tell stories, by Night in Chile by Roberto Bolaño will change your mind. This novel is not just about Chile dictatorships, it explores power, violence, and morality in type of oppression. I invite you to go through this work and its complex and historical reality, its context, and a small narratological analysis, and to discover what role literature and criticism played in the Chilean dictatorship.
Okay, let us start with the context.
The novel is a literary work that immerses in a complex historical and social context, the Chilean dictatorship of the 1970s, through the figure of the protagonist, Father Sebastiano Lutre Racois. Bolaño presents a plot full of symbolism, social criticism, and reflections of the history and identity of Chile, developed from the late 50s to the 70s. The novel is told in the first person by the main character. The history flowed without clear beginnings or endings because it's written in one single paragraph. To understand it should be read without pauses. It represents the narrator's last breath and feverish and painful journey. While he remembers his life and guilt, he also travels through Chile's history. How can storytelling be a weapon against oppression? What is the role of literature in history and politics? By Night in Chile asks this and many more questions. To get to know a bit of this inside the novel, we will take a tour from some illustration I have created for you. Go.
The whole novel happens while Urrutia is sick and lying in bed. His weak body reflects his moral decline and his unclear position. Meanwhile, the aged young man who interrupts him acts like a ghost or a reflection of his conscience, questioning his complicity. He makes this confession from what he calls his own prison, a monastery where he spends his last days. Sebastián Urrutia, a priest of Opus Dei, enters the world of national culture through Farewell's invitation to his estate, which he imagined as a place, open quotation marks, where literature was truly a bed of roses, where knowing how to read was valuable, and where taste was more important than practical needs and duties. There, Urrutia feels the need to take off his priest's robe as his religious work is not important in this place. Farewell pushes him to become a critic, connect with Chile's cultural elite of the 1950s and admire Neruda as the face of national literature. Urrutia writes his first literary review while watching and listening to Neruda recite, and Farewell tell about literary immortality. From then on, he follows his mentor's path and becomes an important critic under the pseudonym H. He gains influence during key political, social, and cultural moments in Chile. Farewell, Urrutia, and Ibacache are claimed to defend literature at all costs, but in reality, they only defend a canonical and patriarchal literature. Women writers are treated with respect. For example, Martha Hanneker's work and education are ignored, and instead her psychical appearances criticized. A shocking question is even asked about her. For example, are we talking about a woman or a bitch? In the page 105. Similarly, Maria Canales, a writer who hosts literary gatherings during the dictatorship's curfews, is seen in a shallow way. She is a writer. She was beautiful. She was young. I think she had some talent. In the page 117. Or the history wasn't bad, but it was far from being good. In the page 122. Even after the coup and Neruda's death, Urrutia hoping to publish his own books, tries to write poetry. However, filled with unexplained anger, he confused. I wrote about women attacking them without mercy in the page 1905. Writers like Neruda are only recognized for their official status as a Nobel laureate, while others like Salvador Reyes are praised through good the Nobel. Until the dictatorship arrives, then Pinochet takes the place of an intellectual and heroic figure for the critic H. Ibacache, who adapts his discourse to place those in power. For example, in the page 17H, see So you know, I am interested, I am reading. I read history books, political theory books, even novels. The last one was Palomita Blanca by Lafourcade, a very useful novel, but I read it because I like to stay up today and enjoyed it. Have you read it? Yes, my general. I said. And what did you think? Excellent, my general. I wrote a review about it, appraised it a lot. I replied, well, it's not that great, said Pinochet. Indeed, I say. So, this flexible identity lacking character connects to a historical period that doesn't belong to today's reader but invites analysis of his role in both the novel and reality as a literal critic. Achivacache preserves and polishes canonical literature like a falconer cares for his birds, keeping culture and society in order but avoiding any challenge to power. At this point, Urrutia desires peace, but a peace that means literature stays untouched by politics. While Child is turmoil, protests, assassinations, Fidel Castro visit, Urrutia isolates himself reading Greek classic. He remains detached ever as history unfolds. Then come the coup, the military uprising, and the bombed La Moneda. When the bombing ended, the president committed suicide, and everything was over. So I stayed still, with my finger on the page. I was reading, and struck what place? In the page 73. After Pinochet takes power, Urrutia becomes a critic in service of the dictatorship in 1970s. He is chosen to teach Marxist ideology to Pinochet and his military leaders, justifying it is a service to the nation in the page 19A. The irony is clear. A right-wing priest teaching Marxism to a military dictatorship. Urrutia presents himself a recruit and by his actions show his comfort. He even recites his poetry to Pinochet and expects one farewells after his lessons in the page 106. In the final part of his confession, Urrutia records the literary gatherings at Maria Canales' house, where he and others validated only certain literary expression, rejecting feminist novels and neo-Chilean literature. However, here come is also a torture seat for political prisoners. Urrutia and the others notice these boys say nothing, justifying their silence. Routine softened al horror. He later insists, I saw nothing, I named nothing until it was too late in the page 134. With the truth about this Horus Spirit internationality, Urrutia meets Maria Canales again only to reassure himself. She promised never to reveal who attended her gatherings. With this, he left her alone and abandoned, convincing himself that he had nothing to do with what happened. His denial is a way of saying that he was there but was never truly involved, protecting but literature and his reputation. In summary, studying Roberto Bolaño's literature on the Chilean dictatorship helps to understand authoritarianism, the connection between arts and politics, and the importance of memory. His works show how storytelling can resist oppression, remember history, and imagine a fairer future. Do you dare to explore this book and discover its impact? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you.